Next up, we have Blues Clues teams up with drag queen Nina West for Pride Month. Oh, look at that. It's so great. I'm gonna have my kids watch this. Not. What are you, is this a joke? Have you seen the video? Again, I'm still early in this video podcasting thing, so I can't share the screen, but just look up Google search Blues Clues teams up with drag queen Nina West, Nina for Pride Month, okay? And it's a stupid video, and it's sickening because they actually use a little girl to promote this as well, like a child, and it's sickening. And this is an example of if you're a Christian, if you believe in Judeo-Christian values, you need to begin speaking up. And this is wrong. This is wrong. This is wrong. This behavior is wrong. And the transgender movement is sickening as well, especially first there's only male female, as you know. I mean again, critical thinking. You can't a man cannot be a woman cannot be a man. It just can't happen. And it's sickening, and they're trying to push this upon children as well. I mean, that's just weak. It just shows how weak they are because they can't convince normal critical thinking adults to be part of their movement. So they have to basically recruit children in Blues Clues to sway them to believe that transgender and gay pride is acceptable behavior. And it's not, according to the Bible, it is not. But we do need to love these people. I was actually just thinking, I actually ran into a man who was trying to be a woman and had a very high voice and whatnot. I was picking up my groceries at local Walmart, but I just had such kind of deep sorrow for this person because I'm sure if we had an honest discussion with any, whether it be homosexual or transgender, whatever the case is, I'm sure there's traumatic experiences and events that they encountered in their life. And it doesn't mean we need to validate the behavior, but we should love them, but we should also tell them the truth and that there's healing, forgiveness, redemption, um, salvation that can be found in Jesus, right? By faith. And so, anyways, there's the Blues Clues Pride Parade sing along featuring Nina West. It's just, it's just one of those things we got to keep continuing to speak up against, and don't be afraid to say that it's wrong. I disagree. I don't agree with that lifestyle, and I think we need to stop taking that neutral stance, like, hey, you do you, I'll do me, and we'll be okay. We got to start standing up, and especially if this type of stuff is being taught in public school. Again, it doesn't mean we shouldn't discriminate against anybody, but we should not be training and indoctrinating children in this mindset either, right? We can't teach the Bible in public schools. We can't teach other religions in public schools. Transgenderism is a religion. Gender dysphoria, when you think you're a man and you think in your mind you're a woman, but it's all subjective. There's no objectivity. There's no science behind it as well. It's just it's a faith. It's a religion. It can't be substantiated through facts and reason. It's simply a form of faith. It's blind faith, just like faith is. It's you gotta believe in the unseen, and they're believing in the unseen. You cannot see just by a man wanting to be a woman just because they feel like they're a woman does not mean anything. It doesn't mean that they're a woman at all. And it's an indoctrination, and we need to continue to step up. And if you have charter schools in your area, you should, or private schools, and you have the funds. I am thankful enough. I live in Arizona. We have a lot of school choice out here. It's amazing. Where if we don't like a public school and what they're teaching, we could pull them out, and our tax dollars will put our children in a charter school that doesn't promote critical race theory, transgenderism, and all that garbage, but will promote good, Judeo-Christian values as well. So, anyways, that's kind of a highlight. And then we have the last thing is Black Lives Matter. USA Today writes about Black Lives Matter co-founder Patrisse Cullors to step down from the Black Lives Matter Foundation. Oh, what do you know? So, as you know, it says this. She writes or is quoted, and this is Patrisse Cullors saying this, I've created the infrastructure and the support and the necessary bones and foundation so that I can leave. It feels like the time is right. I'm sure it is. I'm sure the time's right for you, Patrisse, because you also are under some type of scrutiny, are you not? It looks like this is from the New York Post. It says, Inside BLM co-founder Patrisse Cullors' $1 million real estate buying binge. She's not just buying or binging Netflix or anything like that, but buying $1 million homes. It looks like a bunch of protests broke out across country in the name of Black Lives Matter, and the co-founder, Patrisse Cullors, went on a real estate buying binge, snagging four high-end homes for $3.2 million in the U.S. alone. She wasn't a millionaire before Black Lives Matter. You know that? She saw a documentary about her life. She worked at this I think art center in the Northwest somewhere in Washington. I forget exactly where, but she was not a millionaire. She's far from being, probably didn't make, more than six figures, perhaps, given the line of work. She invested in people for, in my opinion, the most wrong ideology, Marxist ideology, pinning, having racist roots, pinning people by race and color. But this is, I often, before doing this podcast, I often spoke loudly against Black Lives Matter as an organization. I support the sentiment of Black Lives Matter, like many conservatives have to explain. I support Black Lives Matter. I don't agree with the organization, right? So you get the gist. I do not agree at all with anything about the Black Lives Matter organization. I knew they were corrupt from the beginning, and they were leveraging and exploiting the black community for their own selfish gain. I literally use those words almost exactly. And look at what we're finding here. They receive Black Lives Matter. I don't know if the reports came out for the year 2020 they're technically a nonprofit. They were getting donations, hundreds of millions of dollars worth of donations. And come to find out that Patrisse Cullors also had, other shell companies as well, consulting firms, which is a bit sketchy. If you have multiple of those, you can kind of like, it's hard to track down the money and where she's getting the money from and where it's going. But it will be found out, I'm sure, eventually, hopefully. And but yeah, she bought these homes for $3.2 million, so she likely has more assets than that, all coming from likely Black Lives Matter and the initiatives that the Black Lives Matter were all about. Marxist organization exploited the black community, and I'm glad they're being exposed because there are other reports saying that there are other Black Lives Matter chapters. I think there's one in Minneapolis, in fact, that a gentleman actually left Black Lives Matter. He started the chapter in either Michigan or Minneapolis. I can't recall the name, but he left because they were actually not helping the black community, and they never did. I mean, there's reports with them not even investing in education reform. All they're doing is they're paying politicians to push a left-wing agenda. That's really all they're doing, and they're basically holding cities at gunpoint, with protests and riots and burning cities down and things like that. And just a corrupt organization. And if you haven't read the Communist Manifesto of the Communist Party by Karl Marx, it's probably 80 pages or so. It's in older English because it was written in like 1880 or something, and it was translated from, I think it was German. But I mean, Marx exploited the proletariats, which was the working class, to try to cause a revolution against the capitalists who were in the society at the time. Didn't work because they didn't get enough momentum, and so Marx and the communists they tried to exploit the working class to overthrow and create this communistic society, if you will. And really that's what we're seeing, but we're seeing it at a race level. We're seeing at a with it using critical race theory, intersectionality, coinciding, of course, with the root being Marxism. And they're really just using and exploiting the black community to push their radical agenda to dissolve the nuclear family, to promote transgenderism, and to try to indoctrinate children and also the whole equity versus equality. They want everyone to have the same outcome, and everything that is accompanied with Marxist ideas there. So, but that being said, we are done for today. I appreciate your time. I appreciate you watching this. If you find this helpful, make sure you follow us on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube should be up pretty soon. And I hope you have a great day, and God bless. Take care.